So, Jennifer, let's start by talking about Pablo Rodriguez. I had a chance to speak to him yesterday, came into studio. I understand you heard the interview. What'd you think?
Where to start? Okay, well, I'm glad he came in. He announced his leadership aspirations quite some time ago, and it tells me that it took him this long to get into CJAD that he doesn't understand Quebec's English-speaking community, but that's something I already know. Full disclosure, I have practiced federal politics with Pablo going back to many, many years. So I remember when he was elected the president of the Quebec wing of the federal Liberals in 2002. So it was interesting. I didn't think it wasn't reassuring. I didn't find his answers, his responses, particularly around Bill 96. He was more interested in the search and seizure aspects. Whether or not he could have done anything, yes, he could have as the federal minister. So he was the lieutenant for Quebec for a number of years, as he was happy to point out. And in that capacity, he could have intervened with Minister Petitpas-Taylor to curb the excesses of Jean-François Robert, bringing C-13 and bringing Bill 96 into the Federal Official Languages Act and the overhaul of that last year. And he did not do that. And I think most of your listeners will know that the only person who spoke up was Anthony Ho's father.
Is it fair? I don't know if you heard any of the calls and texts that I got with respect to that, but people saying, you know what, I don't trust this guy. I know there's a detachment between the federal Liberals and the provincial Liberals. People make a point of talking about that. Do you think someone like a Pablo Rodriguez is the guy to unify the party here provincially and actually have them do well in an upcoming provincial election?
Absolutely not. Because, for a number of reasons. Because I heard, a Quebecer is a Quebecer is a Quebecer. Now, I know he was in close proximity to Clifford Lincoln at an event on the West Island the other night, so I don't know if he's getting that from him. But, based on what I know, he doesn't really understand balancing interests with nationalist aspirations. Now, a lot of, I heard your discussion yesterday with colleague Hertel when you played Tom Mulcair's comment about worried provincial Liberals. Well, yeah. I know a lot of federal Liberals who are deeply concerned, Anglophones and Francophones, because this is somebody who he talked about rebuilding the party, but the party had to be rebuilt thanks to leadership candidates that he supported. So I'm talking about Michael Ignatieff, I'm talking about Paul Martin. I think that this week's announcement, it was a type of shock and awe, like I'm going to roll out all these people and they're going to say how great I am. But the fact of the matter is we need to look at the rules of the game. He's not a shoo-in, so I'm going to answer the question you asked somebody else. Not a shoo-in because of the rules of the game. So these people that he came out with the other day, they're not ex officio delegates. So even if you're a member of the National Assembly and you're supporting a candidate, that person has one vote. Now, they can pull their entire riding association and whatever members sign up for that candidate, that's a whole other matter. But I don't consider this to be the case right now.
Okay. I mean, let's be honest as well. We're not going to see this race officially kick off until next month. If you had to guess, I'm not asking you who you think is necessarily going to win. Who's best positioned now, do you think?
Right now? Well, I have been watching this with great interest, and I think Charles Milliard has got an extremely interesting candidacy, but also just in terms of his reach. So don't forget he was the former head of the Federation of Chambers of Commerce, so he was already on the ground all over the province in the different administrative regions. And he has been, he resigned from that position quite some time ago. And he has been active in all of the regions of Quebec, with lots of different members of lots of different age groups. So when you're looking at what a candidate has to do to be able to build the type of support and to sign up new members, that's the type of activity that a candidate would want to emulate.
All right, let me move from that to talk about municipal politics. So we found out, I guess just yesterday, finally Projet Montréal has one person who said he'll be stepping up to consider running for mayor. We heard nothing from Ensemble Montréal. So what's going on here? What are you hearing?
Well, I'll show you yours if you show me mine. Okay, so I hadn't heard about the Projet Montréal news, but I'll give you some news about Ensemble Montréal that I heard. My contacts in the East End have told me that the federal MP for Hochelaga, who's Soraya Martinez Ferrada, was a former city councillor with both Union Montreal and Vision Montreal and is the current Minister of Tourism, that she is interested and she's testing the water. So that's what I've heard. Who's the Projet Montréal person that you've heard of?
Goodwig Bernier.
Oh, yes, did hear that yesterday. I'm sorry. I guess I just didn't take it very seriously.
I
yes,
think most people will not have heard of him, I guess, but there you go.
I have heard of him.
Okay.
I have heard of him. He was the former president of the party, but a lot of people might not have heard of him.
Okay. Again, very early in this race. You waiting for someone from the outside, or are you waiting for someone from Saint-Montréal who really can kind of put up a challenge here?
Oh, I think that there's going to be people coming in. I mean, as you see, getting back to the conversation that we were just having about Pablo, I mean, he's sitting as an independent in Ottawa right now, because these things, they don't get underway, and you need to keep your job. You need revenue coming in, and people aren't necessarily independently wealthy, no matter what people think of politicians.
Yeah.
And, people, we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago when you asked me what my sense of the timing was. And I maintain what I said then is I think, in the new year, we're going to start seeing more interesting people. You saw that on Saint-Montréal, they've put their leadership race off, and they haven't put any dates on that. So they're keeping their options open. And I think that's smart, because I think what's going to end up happening is that we'll know who the Projet Montréal's mayoral candidate is before Ensemble Montréal even closes their deadline for memberships, probably. And I think that and I hope that they'll play it smart, because leadership, and I've mentioned this before, leadership rules are really internal, so they can do whatever they want with their internal rules.
Right.
And so can Projet Montréal. They could change their rules tomorrow if they wanted to.
So what you're saying is it won't be Balarama Wholeness?
I don't think it'll be Balarama Wholeness.
Good.
And I know he provides much entertainment, but I think he provides considerable distraction. Yeah. And I think that anybody who's been watching the past couple of years, should probably get behind a party that has a structure in place, whether it's Projet Montréal, whether it's Ensemble Montréal. But this is 103 election, because there are 103 separate little mini elections in all the different boroughs, or 102, I should say, and then the main mayoral. And a lot of these other candidates, if it's just a mayoral candidate, they're focusing on that one position. All
right, we still have a minute left to go here. I want to get your take. So Friday, we had Francois Legault bring up this idea of banning a prayer in public. Reaction has been pretty swift and I think pretty much universal. Today, we had Mark Miller, the federal immigration minister, basically call this out. I was talking to Jim Meny, suggesting, this is the fight Francois Legault obviously wants to have. But now the bishops here as well have come out against this. What do you think about what he said?
Well, I think that François Legault doesn't think often about what he says. So I'm looking directly at this quote here in the newspaper. C'était dit, agacé de voir des gens prier à genoux dans la rue. Now, I live in close proximity to the oratory, and they've just reopened their front. I've seen many people climbing up the stairs on their knees, praying. That's what devout Catholics do. That's what some people do. Now, I don't think... What's interesting about the bishops is they didn't come out in favor of Catholics praying. They came out in favor of the minorities. And I think that given François Legault not having experienced the quiet revolution like the rest of Quebec, I think he's still, very uncomfortable with distancing himself from the Catholic Church. I think that rebuke from the bishops must have really, really, really hurt. And I think it serves him right.
All right. And that's where we will leave it. Jennifer, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Bye, Aaron.